Welcome to the Gamers Tutorial Channel. This channel is dedicated to helping gamers navigate through existing games using little-known knowledge and tips to make their experiences more enjoyable. Today, we will start with Stranded Deep. This is a survival game in which the player has been stranded in the ocean and needs to navigate through different islands and atolls searching for items to help him or her get back to civilization. Before we start the game, we need to go through some basics to set up the game and to prepare some items that will help us navigate through the scenario more efficiently. This is the title screen, and the only thing you need to do here is to press the Enter or Escape keys. If using the Enter key, you will need to use the one on the main keyboard. Once you enter the game, the main menu appears. The first item on the menu is the Play option. But before we start the game, let's review the other items on the main menu. The next option is to play online. This option is problematic, as it only allows 2 players, and both players must be in proximity to each other. It isn't really a play online mode. Change Save Slot allows you to change the location in which your game can be saved. This too has its problems. You cannot change the save slot until you save and reload. It cannot be done at the beginning. Other than the play option, this option will be the most useful option once you start your game. This is what the cartographic image looks like. It is a large map of the area that you are in. This image is only 1/9 of the entire map. While you are in this map, you will have 3 options, if you choose to use them. Search, create an island, where you can design and save your own islands, and create a new world, where you can design your own world with the islands you have created. Designing islands and creating new worlds is time-consuming, but can be rather rewarding in the end. 2 things to note on the map. One is that your location will be highlighted in red, not orange as it is here. And 2, islands with bosses on them will be highlighted in red as well. I do not recommend visiting these islands until such time as you have the needed items to deal with them. Visit them sooner if you wish, but be ready to face the consequences and save before you do. Before you continue from here, I have a couple of tips that will come in handy when you use the cartographic option, and I recommend you use it often. This is the first sheet out of the notebook I used to log my progress in an earlier game. When I first started playing the game, I found myself getting lost or repeatedly visiting the same islands and atolls over and over again. Once I developed this system, I rarely did that unless I did it purposefully. In this log, I list the coordinates to and from the islands I wish to visit. Note that I started on an atoll. Atolls have less resources than islands. Each island I visited is named, and the azimuths are listed. Coordinates will be obtained from the compass that is found in the storage bag on the life raft. Point the front of the compass at the island you want to go to, and note the number that most corresponds to the lining up of the island and the compass. You will want to know the coordinate from the new island or atoll back to your original island, but that is hard to do if you try to do it once you arrive at the new location. So how do you do that? A return azimuth is called a back azimuth. The process is simple. If your original azimuth is less than 180, then just add 180 to that reading to get your back azimuth. For example, you obtain an azimuth of 35. You would then add 180 to that reading to gain a back azimuth of 215. If the original azimuth is more than 180, you subtract 180 from the reading to get your back azimuth. You have a reading of 215, so you subtract 180 from it to get your back azimuth of 35. You will definitely want to keep this information in your logs if you decide to make them. How you keep other information in your logs is up to you. Personally, I keep as much information in my logs as possible. Resources available, structures built, items left behind, and any other thing that are pertinent to my survival. An alternative to doing the compass and calculating back-distances is to create a makeshift compass out of paper. Using any round object, just trace and cut out a circle, then fold it several times and mark the degrees on it. Once done, you can then place it centered over your location and orient it with the 0-degree mark aligned in the same alignment as the north pointer on the map. Please note that the north designator is not pointing up, but at an angle, as indicated by the red arrow. When I first started using this method, I made that mistake and got totally lost. I really prefer the compass method, but I give this as another option. Probably the least useful item on the main menu is the leaderboard. You can check it out, but it only keeps your personal stats unless you have played the online option. And then it only keeps the stats of yourself and the people you have co-opted with. This is where you set up how your computer interacts with the game, controls, game visualization, and other preferences. And finally, this is where you exit the game back to your computer main screen. So those are the basics of the main menu. Now we need to get down to business and get set to play this game, and to do that we need to click on play. When play is selected, it sends you to a menu in which you may choose to continue a current game or start a new game. Continuing will load the last saved game you saved. Starting a new game will erase the previously saved game and start a new game. As this is a tutorial, we will be starting a new game. When you select a new game, you will be sent to this menu to select how you want the game to play. The first selection to choose from is World. There are two options, Existing and Random. The default is Existing, and we will stay with this for this tutorial. There are also two options in the mode selection. These are Single and Cooperative. The default is Single, and we will stay with this as well. The third selection, Difficulty, has three options, Normal, Hard, and Creative. The Creative option randomizes the difficulty level depending upon the circumstances that are encountered during the play. The default is Normal, and we will stay with this as well. The fourth selection, Wildlife, also has three options, Normal, Passive, and Removed. The passive option eliminates the aggressive behavior of predatory animals, land and sea-based, that the player would normally encounter in normal mode. The Remove option, however, completely eliminates these animals and thus eliminates your food possibilities, not to mention the potential of producing your own leather from the skins that are obtained from these animals. I do not recommend this option, ever. To eliminate the possibility of dying from an animal attack, we will select Passive option. The fifth selection on this menu is that of gender. There are only two options here. Sorry to disappoint some of you, but that's just the way it is. Male and female. The default is male, and as I too am a male, I will be sticking to this option. The last selection on this menu is that of permadeath. This selection also has two options, off and on. Choosing the off option allows you to reload a saved game from the last save point in the event you die from some unforeseen event. The on option, however, will cause you to lose everything that has been saved, resulting in you having to start the game from the beginning. Unless you are confident in your skills to survive in this type of game, I do not recommend turning this option on. I will be sticking to the off option for this tutorial. Okay, we are just about ready to start. Before we do, let's go over the movement keys and other functions that you will need to know to make your way through the game. Let's cover how to move within the game. To move forward or to climb, use the W key. To move backward or to climb down, use the S key. Moving left and right, use the A and D keys, respectively, and the space bar if you find you need to jump. For the actions, you will need to use the E key to pick objects up and to put them in your backpack. Your backpack has a limited amount of space, so consolidate as much as possible. Q allows you to drop any object you are holding in your hand. Be careful you do not unintentionally drop something you don't want to lose by mistakenly tapping the Q key. Holding down the C key will bring up a circular menu, similar to the inventory menu, which will show you the items that you can create from the materials in your backpack or that are close at hand on the ground near you. To create an item from this menu, just highlight it. Double tapping the C key will bring up the menus of all the items that are available to you according to the level you have obtained in the game. You can highlight an item to create and right-click your mouse to position that item in the upper left corner of your screen and monitor the items you need to create that item. To take it off the display, just highlight it and tap the right mouse key again. You cannot create items unless your level is equal to or higher than that listed for that item. A note here. In the beginning, there are certain items that must be created before other items can be. So pay special attention in the beginning when items are created. The F key will bring up the watch that you are wearing. The first screen you see will show your health, the heart, your hunger, the mutton leg, your thirst, the water drop, and your environmental exposure. At the top of the watch is the date, time, and SPF, or the exposure danger to the sun. Pay attention to these as they must be maintained, or you will die. Toggle through 2 more screens using the right mouse button for health, condition, and skill levels. Use the Tab key to open your inventory and any containers that you find. The most useful containers will be the wood containers. These can be carried in your backpack, as many as it will hold. Use these to consolidate equipment and supplies. Take them with you from one place to the next using your backpack. Transfer items from your backpack to the wood containers by opening the container. Click on the backpack as shown, then the items that you want to transfer to the container. If you want to transfer items to your backpack, just click on the item when you open the container. The mouse is used to point your avatar in the direction you want it to go. Use the left mouse button to use your tools or attack objects. The right mouse button can be used to pick up and move objects. Now that all the basics and preliminary information has been presented, we can now actually work through day 1 of the game and test our survival skills. Put on your seatbelts all. We're in for a bumpy ride. Watch carefully. There will be no narration in this tutorial. And that concludes day one. We survived. See you next time.